Oy vey. This. I was sitting here waiting for the video to load, and then they had this thing about this kid named Reckless Ben, right? They showed this video. It's his last video, and I thought, oh, please don't let the kid be committing suicide or anything like that. I don't think it looks like anything like that. And he's like, no, we did a GoFundMe page, and I did this thing, and the corporation said I was doing all these bad things, but I wasn't. And so we'll lose all the money from the GoFundMe page if I make them post the last video, and I'll go to jail. The judge says I'll go to jail. So in order to keep all the money from the GoFundMe page, I can't make any more videos. And all these people, it's sad, man. Reckless Ben can't make any more money off of gullible people online because the corporation he's outing, can get the court to incarcerate him if he keeps doing it. Sad. What? Just stand up for the Lord's Prayer, you little bitches. God damn. Like sitting there watching this going, yeah. The fuck. And then they recommend this other one, and I saw, and it has this lady, and so she's famous. I wonder why this lady's famous, right? Turns out she lives in Albuquerque. And there's this little, like, house, that these producers liked, and they asked to use the house to film this TV show called Breaking Bad, right? It's filmed in Albuquerque. If all the pendejos in Albuquerque and in New Mexico, we're becoming the LA of... Yeah, you're becoming the Los Angeles. You're becoming the propaganda hub of genocide operations for money. Go New Mexico. Yeah, you guys were so proud of you. So proud. Yeah, green energies that have, big parking lots that cause global warming, and the windmills that, cause different weather patterns that may, make it worse in other parts of the country, but not in New Mexico. Because we already got Lake Tar Flats and everything like that, and all the heat goes up and goes across, and then the wind blows it off. And so, we're getting better weather patterns, but they're not in Texas and other parts of the country. But who really cares? We don't like all those fucking rednecks and all those fucking people and stuff, right? So this little old white lady, she's yelling at everybody, and everybody's coming and doing viral videos because it's pissing her off because they're throwing a pizza on a roof because the dad from Malcolm in the Middle ended up having the pizza tossed on a roof on an episode, and they're all replicating that. And she had to put up a fence. She changed the house, but they all got the address. And some people are still doing this, and so she sits outside trying to get them stopped from doing it. It's like, just, let them steal all the rocks. Plant grass. No, it's Albuquerque. Put down rocks. Just have it be gravel style, put down some stuff and then just put it down gravel style and put down gravel instead of rocks. I don't know. Go to Lowe's and get some, you guys made lots of money off of them using the house, right? Do a putty green, do a putting green in the front yard. Maybe they'll cut the putting green and take things. You could put a Conference USA logo in your front yard from the people in El Paso. They cut up a whole big section as big as your front yard. Put that there. Have a second one in the garage. They took off 2. Maybe the University of Texas El Paso will donate it to you since they have a conference member. Maybe they'll show neighborly love. I'm just looking for solutions to stop people from being complete dumbasses in the state of my birth. But it's not helping. No, it's not helping at all. They're all dumb as fuck. Albuquerque? Shit, in Albuquerque, they used to tell me stories about the girls that used to have to go to school. They would go to school and the other girls would attack them, and they used to put straight-edge razor blades and curlers in their hair. So when the girls went to pull their hair, they'd cut their fingers like, that's just what I want, pieces and chunks of meat and other people's blood in my hair. And possibly them getting pissed off and turning it over and shoving it into my skull. Fucking geniuses there. It's, wow, who comes up with this kind of stuff? And you put the curlers and stuff in your hair like that. Isn't that going to cut all your hair when she cuts her fingers off with it? And then you got this messed up hairstyle. But you kicked her ass and she cut up her hands, fingers. And machismo. I want to have sex with a woman like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about having sex with a woman like that. Imagine how genius and how rational and sane the kids are going to be. Wow. Raising kids that have a mother that acts like that just sit there and make me go, oh my gosh, we should cure the whole world's population exponential growth problems in like 2 generations, right? You know, got homeless people in the street in Albuquerque, and these people are going and buying pizzas and throwing them on this lady's roof. It's like, you're not going to go take them down to the homeless people? They'd rather have crack and fentanyl than pizzas? Oh, okay. What costs more? I'm just kidding around. If the crack and fentanyl is cheaper, you guys are going to do that, right? Well, I thought you were all into decreasing the surplus population by, violence and violent sex cult, gangs. And then you get all these people talk about how, bad the cops are in Albuquerque, to the chest and one to the head. It's like, okay, I lived in Albuquerque. Okay. I took my stereo out because I needed to steal it. They knocked my window out anyway and then left it because there was a pink boombox that I plugged into the lighter thing to play my music on. And they left the pink boombox. You didn't even take knock the window out. You don't even take the pink boombox. Right. And so then I had to go to a Home Depot and put in a plastic window in the back. And then I worked as a security guard at a thing that was built into a shopping thing that went belly up and fell through. And so they put a thing around it and had security guards have to take a wand and show that you were walking around the place and not sleeping, so no one would come in there and do graffiti or tear the place up or have homeless people sleep in it. It's heaven forbid people, be out in 20 degrees and, sleep inside an empty building, where they could save their lives. But let's put straight edge razors in our hair. We got people's appendages to rip off and people to kill. I'm feeling very Azteca today. Let's sacrifice 10,000 so the sun can come out of the sky, right? All right, sun come out of the ground and be in the sky. We need to feed the earth blood for the sun to come back out. Oh, how vampire Lestat and blood teppies of you. I mean, they're insane. There's a lot of insane people, and they've been this way for tens of thousands of years. It's a blood moon, the second star to the right. And so, you can blame Europeans, but I was a history major, and I know how fucked up Montezuma was, and I know how fucked up a lot of your relatives were and still are. Okay, you got nothing on Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. So, you'll mass murder each other. You'll fight like hell to be the top guy who sells drugs to everybody, doesn't care who he sells drug to, and fuck, teenage girls to death all through Mexico up till El Paso and back, and even bring them in to be sent to Chicago to be fucked by people that have even more money there. And you're just the nicest people in the whole fucking world. Just a whole bunch of sweethearts, man. And you got Rockefeller. Why are you trying to save them? Because life's eternal and grace is infinite and Jesus is perfect. And how many of them sit there and declare that I'm their war god? And I ain't nothing like those fucking psychotic bitches. They're pathetic. And then there's Reckless Ben. I have no idea what Reckless Ben is fucking up to, nor do I care. Okay. Breaking Bad, never watched the show, never will. Okay. I just know that the dad from Malcolm in the Middle threw the pizza on the roof, right? Don't litter in my territory. It's malo to litter in New Mexico. We have to pick it up with designer clothes and pickaxes. Okay, just live the Lord's Prayer, share, care, give, and quest, built to last. And then instead of packaging stuff and selling it to make money, and then advertise that people that make money care about the environment, care about people, and care about, we believe you. Sitting there watching it, right? And you're watching all these, like, the House of the Dragon ones, oh, if you betrayed your queen and all stuff. And these have these dragons that come down and burn people alive, right? And it's human beings that get these dragons to go burn them alive. It's like, oh, how Tularosa, Hiroshima, Nagasaki of you. And then they wonder why these people have bad brain activity, because this is entertainment in order to work real hard, as they say, so you can go to school and buy a nice house in a gated community that people can't go throw pizzas on your roof. And you can buy nice cars. And you can go to the basketball games and hang out with all the celebrities at the basketball games and the football games and in the posh suites and the posh suites and stuff like that. All right. Have sex with people that people only dream about having sex with. It's like, yeah, sex when you're healthy feels good, but when you're not healthy, it's definitely overrated. And most celebrities and people that invent supplements for propaganda, so New Mexico can be the top propaganda tool brag, exporters of the entire U.S. now, with all the bad movies. Like, hey, I'm going to kill everybody who tries to take my daughter because I'm in the drug things, and damn that Sean Penn, he's a crooked military person. Okay, in order for the military to stay in business, you have to have bad people for the good people to go kill to maintain population numbers and economies. Okay, a dog could figure it out, but Sean Penn doesn't figure it out. He goes and talks to Zelensky. I see what's happening here, and I will try to get you money for more drones and more bombs on those drones. Okay. Well, a lady from the Breaking Bad thing says, I had a drone in my house. Like, why? They redecorated the house, and the house is already on the TV show. So why do you need to come and throw a pizza on it and take pictures of it? All you have to do is just go, oh, that's what that house looked like 10 years ago. Yeah, but she inherited it from her parents and she remodeled it. Okay. Why? So people wouldn't come and freak out on it and say, there's that house. Like, when my sister was in rehab, right? We were at this house in Thousand Oaks, California, and the kid sits there and he goes, that right over there is the canyon. We used to watch the helicopters go in and out where they filmed MASH. And I go, wow, yeah, in no way it looks like Korea. No, it doesn't look like Korea, I don't think. But so they go, okay. That's Korea. Thousand Oaks, California is Korea. And all the Asian actors in Hollywood, kept paying their bills because that Korea lasted for the same as Vietnam. And there are lots of Asian actors, Pak, Mr. Pak and Hong Wan and Hong Tu and, and stuff like that, provided a lot of job for Asian actors, so they could still pay their bills instead of how Haile Selassie of you. That's one of the jokes from MASH, and I liked MASH, but I don't like the people that perpetuate propaganda and make lots of money off genocide. That really pisses me off. But I don't have the problem with the courts coming up and saying, you can't talk about this. Because they ran me over in the parking lot of a Best Buy in 2013 and nobody even knows I exist. And my thing is I'm more concerned with your computers than I am with the people. Well, because the people are insane and they're little lambs that are lost in the wood, and they could be oh so good for someone to watch over me. And they all pray to, a lot of them pray to Jesus, And I'm not Crom and I'm not James Earl Jones, and sure the fuck ain't Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm not Stanley's fucking imagination. And so what I do is I just, have these people abuse and mind fuck you and torture. They're mean. This town is mean as hell. Okay. They will fuck with you and impulse you and all you women out there that like Professor Laverine talked about with Jesus, right? They said he's the perfect husband and he's gorgeous. And he is. And if you're going to fantasize about when you go to heaven that Jesus is your husband and you have the best sex in your life, like when Amy was being screwed by all the guys at NSI, and we had sex in the weight room, and she said she had the best sex she ever had in life, and she did, because I'm going to have to fuck the shit out of her to get her to stop fucking all the guys at work, right? And she told everybody that just made the old Navy SEAL Nate Reynolds and all his little fuckers even madder. It's like, out of shape Fat Ralph had better sex with her than Thor and Eli and all those young guys? Yeah. Because I care, because I wanted her to stay home with the kids. I didn't want to try to outfuck me. But then when I went to Cochise County, oh no. Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan, Tom Cruise, Michael B. Jordan, the best the Mormon Church has to offer that didn't make it with the Dallas Cowboys. Oh gosh, no. Could not outfuck them, and they all had bigger pingas. 7 inches or more was a requirement. Otherwise, vanity was going to fall asleep, all right? She was horrible to me in Sierra Vista. And she, and I knew when I looked at all the things, I was like, I can't compete with any of these guys. Half these guys that are hitting on her from the Middle East are engineers and doctors and all this stuff. And that guy's a supermodel who wants to be an assassin. And and then she's having sex with all the, the guy that she was screwing when she got pregnant with Crumb was all muscled and driving in a Mustang rental and stuff, probably fucking around on his wife and kids in Baltimore, just like the little fucking hot little kid from U of A that was supposed to be a Muslim. Hey, you knock it off just because you can't control your wife. And I sit there and I said, you're supposed to be a Muslim. You're supposed to be a virgin for a virgin. You have good luck controlling your wife when you finally get married, you little bitch. Shit. You're on FenFinder having sex with people's wives in Cochise County while you're at U of A, here from the Middle East. And then you say, I'm out of line asking you not to go online and fuck people's wives in Cochise County because you're a god man and they're all infidels. It's like, yeah. Those are all those good Muslim wives, husbands you're going to meet online that are looking for good, pure Muslim women that run for public office and save all the kids being trafficked in Somalia. Yeah, they're sweethearts, man. They couldn't figure out how to be a decent human being if I kicked them in the dick and the vajayjay every day for 15 years anonymously online. Yeah, that's pretty much that. That's not an erroneous statement. It's like old David Rockefeller in my head. They're all useless. They're all sorry-ass sons of bitches. They're like the fuckers at Catholic Social Services who will make you feel like shit for asking for help when you need it because we're abusing you. And all the fuckers at the goddamn Salvation Army and Goodwill that target all the kids with disabilities and treat them like shit, and it's all a goddamn tax write-off for the rich. Shut up. Because the kids with disabilities work there and get treated like they're stupid all the time by the people that work there because they're tired of working with people with disabilities, but they have to because it's a tax-free organization which provides jobs for people that, and they're mean to the people. You can't do that, and they're condescending and abrasive and abusive to call the kids with Down syndrome and autism and stuff that they have to hire. And it makes it real hard to get the work done for all the people that don't, And then there was that asshole at the Goodwill. Oh, Muhammad was a pedophile. And so was Abraham. What's your point? All the girls that David married were, most of them were probably quinceañera or a little bit below. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember what Marcus Garvey said? People without a knowledge in history, like a tree without root. Yeah. Yeah. Like Ashley on fucking with the gambling show on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and she's got Jeffrey to do gambling with her, and she was kicking his ass at it, and she said, I should be at the casino night and all this stuff. He goes, you're Miss Ashley, you can't be doing this. He goes, in the Middle Ages, I'm 13. I would already have 2 kids and 3 oxen. It's funny. She went to a prep school in Beverly Hills. She knows her business. She knows her stuff. And you're like sitting there going, and I'm so glad that we came up with the quinceañera to make people wait so they don't die as much in childbirth. And I am glad that we got ourselves up to 18 because that gives you more time to mature and be a better parent and more time to survive childbirth through physical things that could cause problems with the childbirthing. So I'm glad we as a scientific community invented laws to say, hey, let's not do this to our girls. We got to love our girls. They've only just begun to live. And a guy, you don't want to go from 15 or 17 to, you plowing another, you got to feed those kids. And the other thing that you don't need is another hungry mouth to feed. And then have all your next door neighbors wanting to fuck your wife and come and kill you in your sleep and take all your food you worked for and then throw a pizza on your roof and then break bad and then take all your GoFundMe money with a corporate leverage takeover. They're so fucking stupid. Okay, God. They're no better than Vikings. They're no better than Visigoths. Transhumance raiders, You get these people, they get in a covered wagon because they're getting fucked over by the bank and the factory, and they just want to find a place where they can have a farm where they don't get raided, right? And then the Native Americans are waiting there going, all these bastards come in. And then they come in and they get enough to get 10 cows and this and that. And then the brown people say they're taking all our land, but we're going to come and take all their food and kill them, so they're discouraged not to do it. But it's like, yeah, but you just ate all winter off of all their hard work last winter, right? And the poor Native Americans were victims. No, most of them weren't. It's like my boy Mark, who was Apache and German, told me. He said, there is no such thing as a noble savage. Okay? There is no such thing. You either have a good guy or a bad guy. And like Tupac talked about with the cops, he goes, the cops are just like gangs. You know, you have good people that are in the gang trying to survive, and then you have people that will do anything to get what they want, and they're totally fucked, and you can't have them as a friend, and the only thing you can have them is in any way, and the only way you can love them is the way David loved Goliath, and the way Saladin loved the Crusaders, right? I love the Crusaders too, especially with Randy Crawford singing Street Life. That's a really good song, isn't it though? Okay, but we're not talking about those Crusaders. We're talking about those crazy wackadoodles who were told that they would get a magic place getting serviced by virgins in heaven. Oh, yeah. You hear that Rodney Carrington making fun of all those people who call themselves Muslims who think that. You do know that that started... You know, it didn't start it, but it was the Catholics that used to do that when they talked all the people to going on the Holy Crusades. Whoa, I got a dirty thumb, right? Yeah, because the women are better looking in heaven, and you don't die and you live forever. So if you die in service of establishing a kingdom of heaven, you got to go a magic kingdom in the clouds. And if they don't, you know, if you know, that's why Lord Saladin had them kill them and kill them quick, and most of the time they'd behead them. Well, that way the brain activity wouldn't go and pass on bad brain activity that you're being fucked by 70 virgins in heaven. So he thought that would stop it. Well, we understand science. You know, Jesus, would be better to rip your eye out and rip it out of its socket than it would be to try to enjoy the memories of what you did while raping and looting in that village, and how those talking about the good old times, right? So if you keep thinking, okay, I got to go raid a Mexican village, kill all the kids and rape all the women, you might want to rip your eye out of your socket and stop doing that, because that'll take away that movie screen. So when Sun Tzu was talking about ripping guys' eyes out of their sockets, so that would be driving them mad, they won't have that porno anymore. They won't have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They won't have Debbie Does Dallas. They won't have Game of Thorns. They won't have Breaking Bad. They won't have Reckless Ben. They won't have Madonna's Sex Book. They won't have I Waited All My Life to See Britney Spears' Coochie. Right. Talking about the good old times. It's not good at all. Okay? Me? I dated a girl named Edna, and we couldn't date because of drug dealing bullshit invented by the heroes of the world and the men who saved the world. And I only got to pick her up and put her on a step of her boss's house because her baby daddy threatened to kill anybody or her if she left. And I picked her up by the waist and I kissed her, and it was wonderful, and she giggled, and I floated all the way home like on a goddamn Spike Lee movie, listening to Pieces of a Dream, which is a very good album. Yeah, I've been running, I like Lance Webb too. Afraid to look back, been through the motions of feeling for you. Makes You Wanna is also a good song. Lance, don't sing in that, it's an instrumental. Okay, but James is really good on the keyboards, and he has an excellent bunch of band members that are very good jazz musicians. All right, but don't pay your bills. If you want to play music, do it because you love one another. You have faith in the glory of God, like King David and myself. Thank you. You're welcome. And then I remember, you know, a few stolen moments with Yolanda Denise Gilliard and her camisole that were just out of this, you know, like from passion romance novels, and then you had the little kids throwing the frisbees in the backyard and all sitting in the backyard, and then I didn't mind Ray and Cindy and the other end of this cul-de-sac sitting there going, you know, what's going on in there, Earl? So I'm just washing her hair, Ray. Cindy, Earl, can you get Ray some of that shampoo? I'm 21 years old. I've waited till I was 21 to get a girlfriend that her parents were all right with her marrying a white guy, and yeah. I like the things you do to me. I like brings out ecstasy. It really turns me on, yeah. Oh, girl, you are my lover. When I'm with you, there is no other. A spell you've got me under. That album was out. We had that album. The girls danced to it. Yeah, they danced very well. Yes, they did. It was cute. And so, yeah, Shelly, I put on music for them to dance to and say, oh, that's really good. Yeah, they did little line dances. They do. I'm not a line dancer. I was always one of the best dancers at all my schools, yes. Okay. My two favorite dancers when I was growing up were Fayard and Harold Nicholas, and they were the ones I copied the most. And I still do a lot of their dance steps. I can't do the athletic stuff I used to do because the military heroes don't like it when you can do things better than them. Like the guys in Encano Park that push you into the pole because that black, or that way. Except for old black professional basketball players. I hope he's still alive. I wish I could still meet him again. The guy that would sit there and say, they do this to you all the time, damn. He told Mike Scott, they ain't going to give you that call at Tulsa University. He picked you clean. He snatched you bald. I did that a lot. Okay. Guys would come up. He just made Mike pull the ball over on defense, and then he knew I was behind him, and I would just jump up in the air and just take it. And he'd turn around and he'd call mines, call foul. I was like, no, I did not foul. No, you showed me the ball, and I took it. I could also do it up high as well as down low. Sergeant Gibbs, Brian, Raph. Sergeant Gibbs, he snatched you ball. I didn't do it. It was the guy from the Phoenix Suns and Coach Rasper. You jump real well and you have good time. I do have good timing. I didn't have good timing on dunks because I didn't like embarrassing people and they would hurt you. Getting the rebound, that's a entirely different thing. Coach will bench you if you don't get the rebound, right? So my motivations were a lot different. Don't you? I hate getting benched. It sucks. On offense, I didn't want to embarrass people. On defense, my rebounds, my putbacks were perfect timing every time. And my friends used to just be astonished by it, And when I went against those two pro ball players at the YMCA up across the street from Deer Valley High School, I was flying. Bob would say it too. He's like, God, Earl, it was incredible. If you had somebody taking pictures, it's you're like 4 or 5 feet in the air. Well, he's almost 7 feet tall for 6 foot wingspan, and he's got like a 7-something wingspan. He's 6'6", and he's got like a 40 some odd inch vertical. I mean, I had to go through the lane like that, Bob. I had no other choice. You were flying, yeah. And the nice thing was Mike told me, the guy at Cleveland State that didn't make the Suns because of politics, not because he wasn't a good ball player, said I was one of the best players he ever played against. And so did the guy from South Dakota State. The South Dakota State guy said it's almost emasculating the way you don't even flinch, you don't even care. It's like I'm not even there. And I told him, I said, I didn't know his analytics, but I said I just gauge, which is the same. I gauge real good. I know exactly how high you can jump and where you can get it and all that. And I know when you're coming, I'm going to let the ball go. It's like my dad told me about shooting. It's the guy who aims and not the guy who shoots the fastest. So take your time. Aim the shot and get it off. And then by the time he got there, I couldn't see it go in, but I knew it was going in. And I told him that. I was like, once you let it go, it's not going to affect the shot. You aim, you shoot. I mean, some guy can come at you and, say he's going to step under your feet and everything like that. Then you've got to be, I was real good at that too with the Garrels brothers coming up and putting their shoulders under my ball sack. So I shot with one hand, the pommel horsing with my left hand to make sure that they, yeah. And that's the same risk that I heard doing the long jump at Marshall Elementary School in Tucson because I bounced out of I was practicing my best Bob Beeman and, or was it Ralph Boss? I can't remember, but I was practicing my best. And because I watched the tapes of the Olympic City and the guy that jumped the longest, and I ran and did the running in the air, and I jumped out of I jumped off the little board and I jumped out of the pit. And when I landed, they show, if you bounce backwards, they'll mark it where you fall back. So I pushed myself and went forward. When I went forward, I bounced and I flew. And then I bent my wrist back and I sprained my wrist real bad, and it still doesn't go back as well as my right to this day. My mom got so mad at me I had to wear a blow up. I didn't have to get a plaster cast or anything like that. It was just, I heard it, but they looked at it and they x-rayed it and said, okay, did some damage, but they just made me wear a blow up plastic cast on it for like 3 or 4 days. And then I was back to, I didn't do that thing I was playing basketball after that. dunking on the 8-foot hoops and having the junior high kids get all mad at me. And yeah. So, back in the day when I was in 6th grade. Yeah. But that was fun. Basketball back in the day. If I could, I'd do it all again. No, not at all. No, not for one New York minute. No, would not want to time travel and go back in the past. Why? That one black scientist who talked about building a time machine, go back into the past. It's like, why? How many people are you going to get back to just for your family? So you're going to put all molecular structures by building a wormhole at risk, just trying to go get back at your relatives and move to the future. And everybody else fucked them in the past. I'm not genetically, sexually connected to them. See how you think? You're like Pharaoh over and over and over again. You're the devil. You're Satan. See how you guys think? All your movies are like this. Your Lazarus Project, your Quantum Leap, your Back to the Future. They're all the same. Okay? Instead of living the Lord's Prayer to stop all the mistakes of the past, you go back to the past and think you're going to take them to a future doing the same fucked up shit you're doing yesterday, today, only with wormholes and better tech and better ways to manipulate and mindfuck people through Wi-Fi and get them to accept new forms of money that don't require digging up the mountains. You guys are so fucking stupid. It's like, wow. You know, what is your brain for? It's solitary confinement for the soul. I get it. Okay? Reckless Ben and Breaking Bad. You fuckers are so dumb. It's like, why would you race a perfectly good pizza on the roof of a house to be... How is that cool? Okay. How is that fucking cool? Where does that rate wager? Where does that rate? And that's just dumb as fuck. You're being as dumb as the dumbass on TV who holds food hostage to be a millionaire and a billionaire and gives you drugs to survive it while you're dying from carbon emission poisoning and violent gang human trafficking warfare in Albuquerque that's still prevalent today because you people suck and Earl doesn't exist. They ran me over in the parking lot of Best Buy in January 2013, according to the CIA and the other acronyms in this fucked up little hellhole of a town. Okay? The reason why Albuquerque's so fucked is because Las Cruces is. And the reason why Fort Huachuca is so fucked is because Las Cruces is. Okay? They rebooted. The military people couldn't handle me. They kicked them out, and they had a bunch of people from Silicon Valley move into Fort Huachuca. Because the military was doing such a bad job. They couldn't get Parsons to break and turn into a pervert like the people on the Silicon Valley movies with the guy with the cars that go up instead of out. And the guy painting the mural of the... Pakistani guy he thought was Mexican fucking the white guy dressed up as a Statue of Liberty as an Aztec in the ass on his garage. It's like, and you guys think this shit's funny, and children watch this stuff. And then you wonder, why are these kids taking antipsychotic and schizophrenic meds? It's so puzzling. I'm having trouble figuring it out. I think I'm going to have to go to school to become a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a neurosurgeon to fix it all. God damn, I guess I should have been a genius instead of the Messiah. Just forgive, debt, and trespass, love, and eternal faithful peace. You rotten little bastards, and all the bitches that you let these, all the bitches out there that you let these bastards fuck you. Okay, instead of making love to King David to love him back to life, you'd rather get fucked by a guy who comes up with a good idea to pay everybody's bills at the fucking brothel. The men who saved the world, more powerful than Gotti. $1 Million Highway. President Trump gaggles with press upon departure from what? President Trump is just a puppet for these perverts in this town that think they're all better than me and haven't been as good as me a day in their life. And it's been over 10,000 years since King David's line has been the standard from Mount Zion to now. Boom, ba-da, boom, boom, ba-da, boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-na-na-na-na-na.